Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to take a look at these two foot controllers. I've got two Bernina foot controllers here. So if you've got a Bernina sewing machine that has a foot controller that looks similar to this here, and plug on the end that looks similar to that, and if you plug your machine in, you plug it into the wall socket, plug in the cable to the machine, the power cable, turn the machine on, you've plugged this into the machine, and you go to start sewing and nothing happens. You push this foot controller down, nothing happens. Well, one of the faults could be that the foot controller or this cable here can be faulty. So I'll show you how to track down what's causing the fault and how to repair it. This might be the model number here, I'm not 100% sure, but we've got SR1, not sure if that'll come up there in the camera. Anyway, I'll show you how to diagnose these foot controllers. Now today I'm going to be using a multimeter here. So you don't need a fancy meter like this. You can pick up multimeters really cheaply these days. So you don't need anything flash like that. Basically what we're going to do for a start is we'll put the meter into the ohms setting there. So that's going to measure resistance. And if I touch the two leads together, we'll see that we get a very low resistance of 0.1 of an ohm. If I take the probes apart there, we get a overload, or it's open. Okay, so the way these work is that at the moment the circuit will be open because the foot controller is not being depressed there, and we should see that if I put the meter on the outside of this barrel jack here, one probe on the outside of the barrel jack, and then the other probe in the center there. You can see there that we've still got open circuit there. If I push the foot controller down, we should be seeing a reading. So the resistance should be dropping, but you can see that it's not doing anything at all there. And so there could be a couple of causes for that. One cause is the cable can have a break in it somewhere along the line. The other problem can be an internal electronic issue with the little board inside the foot controller, which I'll show you in a second. I'll take this apart. And so that's labelled number 6. That is completely dead as such. We've got nothing on that one. And if we have a look at number 7 here, we'll do the same test here. It doesn't matter which way around these probes go. We're just measuring resistance here. So just hold that on there. Nothing. That's the same model number, SR1, SR-1. Yeah, as I say, I'm assuming that's the model number. If anyone knows for sure, if they wouldn't mind leaving a comment down below, that'd be appreciated. So what we need to do first of all is just get into one of these and test the cable first, right back to where it connects to the board there. Okay, you can actually remove these, or this retainer here, just by levering in there, levering the little clips. You do have to be gentle doing that, but the easiest way is to actually take that off after you take the top off there, the lid there. And to get the lid off, you just get a screwdriver and you just gently lever this section here out, just until the little hinge there pops off the plastic there, like that, and then this will just come apart. Once you get the other side off, might just need a little bit of gentle persuasion there, just like that. Oops. And then you can see here that we've got the electronics here, that's the variable resistor, a little micro switch there, and I find that just a pair of long nose pliers actually is probably the easier way. And you can just push in both of those little tabs there, the plastic tabs. That should just pop out there. One of them's just being a little bit stubborn there. That's it. And then just give the other one a helping hand out there. There we go. Comes off like so. There's the little clips there. Basically just squeeze those together to unlatch that. And here we have the inside of the unit here, and you'll be able to see that there's a little ramp arrangement here, and that when you push the foot controller pedal down, pushes down and pushes this back here and slides this variable resistor so that, and this here will decrease the resistance here. So the reason we had an open circuit there can also be this little micro switch can sometimes fail. So it can be three things actually. It could be the cable, a break in the cable here. This micro switch could be failing, and this variable resistor could be failing. So it could be one of those three things, or more than one, I guess, if you're unlucky. So I think the next thing to do will be to test the cable here. So one of these surfaces here, either the inner or the outer here, will be the red and the white here. So probably the easiest way to test that would be to remove this unit here. It's just a couple of Torx screws there. I'll go and grab my Torx set. Torx T10 size that screw there is. So just remove these two mounting screws here. Okay, there we go, there's one there and another one over here. I'm just holding down that board there. It's being sprung up by this here. Okay, those two out of there, and then we can just unlatch this from under there. This is the unlatched little micro switch. If I just bring this forward, it might give us a little bit more room to pull the variable resistor off that bar there. And you can see that this is the little driver for the spring-loaded. This is spring-loaded here, and then if you want to take this little driver out, you can. There's a little bit of like a silicone lubricant on there, and you can see the little driver there. We'll just leave that sitting in there in the meantime. So we want to have a look and see whether we've got continuity between this outer of the barrel jack and also the inner of the barrel jack there. So we don't know which is which at this stage. Take a guess at the center being red, maybe. Soon find out. Let's bring the meter in here. And if we go on to, we've got the buzzer sounding there when I touch those together. So if we put one in one end, just try either one of those. So we're not getting anything on either side of that. So I'm not sure whether that's red or white, that inner connection there. So if we go for the outer one, yep, so the outer is white we're getting a good connection there. And then, so the inner should be red, getting nothing. So more than likely, well, definitely the cable needs replacing there. It's probably a good idea to check the switch while we're here, just in case there is a fault there. So that would be open, I think, when that's pressed down. This should be an open circuit. If I can just, yep, open. If I let the switch go, it's closed if I let the switch go. So I've let that go, and we're getting a connection there. So that switch is working properly. So the way that works is when you put your foot down, the little bar comes off the switch and opens the closes the circuit, sorry. And then, you know, if the cable was in good condition, obviously it would be working. We can test the variable resistor as well. And obviously, so when you lift the foot, the bar comes back over and opens the circuit, stops any, so it stops the machine in its tracks, just in case that this doesn't return fully to zero. Or open circuit, this will return open circuit here and low resistance down here. So we can check that variable resistor. We just put a connector on here, go back to measuring ohms here. Most multimeters have these functions, you know, these days, and you know, you can pick one up for probably $10–15 these days. They're really cheap. So we've got high resistance there, 5.119 kilo ohms. And if I slide the slider down, if I can do that and hold on here. So we've got high resistance there. If I move the slider down, you can see the resistance coming down. 1 kilo ohm, 600 ohms, down to basically short to 1.9 ohms. Okay, and that's right down at this end here. So the variable resistor is working fine. So that's good, because this part here is actually officially not separately sold. You have to buy a whole new foot controller. So it's good that this is in good condition still. So it's really just a matter of replacing the cable here. So if we just unravel this here, this is strain relief, so that the cable, if it gets pulled, the cable gets pulled here, it doesn't pull on these connections here. So we can undo that, just like so, and then we can just pull the whole cable out, and we can work away on this here. So what can happen is the break can occur down here close to this, which is handy. If it is broken down here, it's handy because you can just cut the cable here and then resolder into here. It shortens the cable slightly, but I don't think that's, you know, going to take out too much length there. It's still going to be usable. So I think I'll take a educated guess on that one, and we'll just snip that off here. And then we can just strip away these here. Really just to allow us to test it. So it was the red cable that was faulty there. And if we bring the meter back in here, we'll go into buzzer mode there. Cable probe in the center there, and one onto the red. Still nothing. So the break in the cable must be further up, and I suspect, I've seen this also, is it could be broken right down here. So, and that's not so easy to sort out. You need a new cable for that. We can test that. I mean, you know, I guess the break could be down here somewhere closer to the foot controller, but I doubt it. And I've got another cable, so just to see, we'll just trim that off there and see if we can just stick that down in there. That's on the red cable there. Still nothing. Yeah, still nothing there. So that is definitely, oh, we're getting something there. Okay, so maybe that is okay. And if I retest this, yeah, now I'm getting continuity. The cable seems okay. I think maybe just there might be a loose connection in here, and it's, for some reason, it's connecting at the moment. Only sometimes. Yeah, it's disconnecting sometimes there. Okay, so time for a new cable. So I've got a replacement cable here, and that's fine there on the red. Just testing it before I put it back in there, and white, no problem there. It's got the soldering iron here. So we'll heat it up, ready to go, and I'll remove this, the remnant of the faulty cable here. Just start with that red cable there. Yeah, actually that looks like unleaded solder there. Tempted to get rid of that and put decent leaded solder in there. It's looking a little bit crusty on it. You don't really have to do this, it's just makes it a little bit easier to solder on there. I'm just going to use a little bit of solder wick there. Just soak up a bit of that unleaded solder. Just going to clamp it in there. It makes it a little bit easier. Just get a bit of heat on there. Probably could do with a little bit of flux there. It's not too bad. Yeah, that's, and then I'll just go over that with a little bit of leaded solder. The leaded solder just flows a little bit better. I should probably just re-tin these here. Just re-tin that there. Now these wires don't carry any high current or anything like that. It's just low current DC voltage. So there's no danger of electrocution with all this sort of carry on. Feed the red one in there. Okay. Yep, it's good there. So now we can put this unit back into the foot controller now. So we can just bring this spring-loaded bar down, hook it into the variable resistor there. Make sure that the micro switch goes underneath the bar there, and position that back into place there, and just get these screws back in here. Now these cables from Bernina, they're not cheap. I suggest if you have a look around on AliExpress, you can sometimes find a cable that has this barrel jack connector here on the end. So if you measure the inside of the barrel jack and the outside, you can get a very close fitting barrel jack with a cable like this. already molded and ready to go for a lot less than what you buy it from Bernina for. It's virtually the same cable. And we'll go through the strain relief again there, through there, and then we come around like that. So put a little bit of extra slack in there. Bring a little bit of slack into there, like that, around here, and then around like that. I think that's right. And then that leaves room for this to come out through the little cable retainer there. And then it's just a matter of putting the top back on. Just make sure that the spring is positioned properly there. And again, on this side here, match that up. Just hook these two little lugs here, hook them underneath the matching lugs, and then just press down like that, and it clips all back into place there. And then, you know, you can go ahead and put these clamps back on here, the retainer. The cable comes through right through this retainer here and out the other side, just like that there. And then we should be all set to go there. Okay, pushing down, and you can see the resistance is coming down there, just ranging there. There we go. Fixed. Okay, sorted. And I've checked the other one, it's exactly the same problem. So, you know, nothing to see there. Yeah, so that's about it for this one. I hope you found that helpful and or interesting. If you did, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And thank you again to my patrons on Patreon. And thank you very much for watching.